Good afternoon, Michael L. Dublin Sr. with another installment of Learning to Live Now. I planned to do one with a series of questions just on the basis of a particular flow. But while walking this morning, something else came to my mind based on not theater, but a television series I'd seen. It's on ID, like channel investigation, and it was talking about fathers who kill their children. I'd also been listening to, which I do daily, the Spinner's Cut, living just a little, laughing just a little. So live a little, laugh a little. And I listened to the lyrics of that song, and it's pretty involved. And then there's a song by the Jackson Southerners about there is good in the worst of us. And because I'm contemplating all of those things, I always run it through my own filters and my own experiences. So, in order for me to learn to live now, I had this discussion with myself and with my daughter Kendra, the woman who was married to one of the guys who killed their two children and her two children. I was perplexed about the woman meeting this guy. She ends up marrying him, and all of the mental health and other issues he had started to surface. And they became quite apparent that this guy was going to be a deadly guy, somebody hard to deal with. But she was unable to break away from him. She actually went through the process of filing for divorce. He acted very nice, and then he talked her into putting it off. But all of that was a part of a plan he had, where one day he comes in and he kills his four children, and he ties her up and he cuts her in the face. But he wants her to live because she, quote unquote, had aggravated him so bad. She was so hard to deal with that she caused him to do that. And he wanted her to live with that. And he knew he would be in prison the rest of his life. And I kept trying to figure out through the story why this woman stayed with this guy, why she went back with him. And what does this have to do with living a wholesome life? Well, in my questioning all of this, I'm not in this woman's shoes. I don't know what life she's lived. I don't know what challenges she's had. And I do know from being a pastor and working in the substance abuse field and all of the other life experiences that life is complex. It's very difficult. So I'm not coming from a point of condemnation at all, because I have been in situations in my life that later on I had to figure out, how did I get into that situation, and why did I not see my way out sooner? And listening to the Spinner song, which is a song that I would love to see, I would love to process this. I love to be with a group of people who can break down the lyrics, who are kind of critical thinkers, and just love to talk about life itself. You have to be on a life journey. There are some songs out there that, man, you just have to process them. So live a little, laugh a little. The lyrics are lyrics I can relate to. Now, what does this have to do? It has to do with my own journey, and my own journey in being and realizing that there is a key component to my life that I see in this woman, that I see in the song, and that I see in myself and my own errors and mistakes and poor judgments, my own fantasies and unrealistic views of other people. And for me, at this stage in my life, there's a lot of complex issues with all human beings. Life is a mystery. But there is this thing called self-respect. When you have a high value of yourself, not that you're better than anybody else, but certainly that you are not less than any other human being. And no matter how much you care for a person, no matter how much you love them, no matter what the relationship, you don't give your self-respect, your value, your personhood over to another person. Anytime you do that, you are saying that You have low self-respect because you're giving yourself to somebody who cannot be bigger than you or better than you. They don't have characteristics that you like, but at the end of the day, there's good in the best of us, and that's bad in the worst of us. Or did I say that wrong? That's good in the worst of us, and vice versa, as that song was by the Jackson Southerners. So this morning, I just want to remind you, and I want to challenge you to live now. And the key is you can love people, you care for them, you must do that, but don't ever give them your self-respect. Don't find yourself doing things that you know that you don't appreciate doing, you don't like doing it because the other person is manipulating you. And they're manipulating you to get their own way. And as a result of that, you have such a fantasy about who this person is. You want to see the best in them. You want to make sure that as far as it depends on you, that you keep that relationship. But there is no relationship that you want to keep that you have to lose yourself. Please do not give your self-worth the way that you value yourself. And when you don't value yourself, recognize that, because you will become a target and you will find yourself living a life that becomes detrimental to you emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. So whatever happens today, be bold enough to ask yourself, what is self-respect? And why have I ever given my self-respect away to another person? Because it's mine. It's all that I have. And no one deserves my self-respect. They deserve to be respected for who they are, but not to take what's mine. And I want to encourage you today, if you're going to learn to live now, when someone is demanding or asking you to do things that are beneath your dignity, that's beneath your value, when they're treating you in a way that is really very poor and you know it, and you've expressed that to them, and they continue to do it, it's because they simply don't value you. And at this particular point in their life, they may not be evil person to harm you, but their own personal lack of value causes them not to value yours. Because when you have low self-respect or almost no self-respect, you treat people the same way. So you and I will have to grow and continue to ask yourself this question: what is self-respect? And you must determine at some point, you never give your self-respect, your dignity away to anybody. Love them, but there are fantasies that you've had as fantasies, and because you want to keep the relationship, but you're seeing right in front of you who that person actually is. They are who they are, and they're going to be who they are until they decide that they no longer want to be who they are. Then they will find the spiritual, they will find the help of God, they will do the things that's necessary. But one thing they will stop doing immediately is taking advantage of others who love them and care for them. And they may not be ready to do that, so you have to take care of you. No one is going to take care of you like you. And if you're unable and unwilling to do that, you have to learn that this has to stop. This has to be something you decide. What is your value? Not just your values. How do you understand yourself? What is your self-worth? In reality, do you love and care and respect yourself enough to protect yourself and to grow, to deal with your pain, laugh a little, cry a little, and continue through this mystery of life without giving your life away to somebody else? Not in marriage, not in dating, not in friendships, not in church, not in religion. You as an individual are the person you're supposed to be. And in this short period of time that you're going to live, you have to absolutely demand self-respect. You have to demand that you don't owe anybody your life, and you're not going to allow anybody to put you down. Even to the point of death, you must live and die with dignity and respect. Whenever you allow anybody to demean you all the time, they're constantly putting you down, it's because they have low self-respect and they're trying to bring you to where they are. You say you want to keep the peace. not at the cost of your self-respect. You stand up for who you are. And you say, that's not acceptable to me. I'm not going along with that. That's not who I am. Because the more you give yourself away, the more the other people are going to want. They're not going to wake up one day and say, I have been treating you wrong. I should not have done that. I'm going to change my life. They're not going to do that. You have to stand for yourself. Beloved, if you can't stand for you, how do you expect anybody else to stand up for you? Care about people. You're going to be emotionally attached to people, but you become emotionally attached to yourself, and you love the man and the woman in your mirror. Michael L. Dublin Sr., a man of education, non-education, experience, husband, father, great-grandfather, grandfather, substance abuse, a prevention specialist, pastor, and a man on a journey, and will always be on a journey to the end of life. Self-respect, beloved. Learn to live now.